Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. Paradigm I share today concerns, is God on your side? There's a really interesting phenomenon that happens, and I find this happening on the left and the right, in that we tend to see God as our political ally. What we tend to do is we tend to construct the way in which we believe politically and make that match what we believe God believes. We alter our theological beliefs according to our political beliefs. And there is some research showing that oftentimes our politics help shape our theological beliefs. So this channel is for, I aim it at people who are not on the left or the right or in the middle or maybe shade, but they're not super loyal to one side or the other. So perhaps this doesn't apply to you, but we see it apply all around. I think we need to recognize this when it takes place. Let me first say that political philosophy is socially constructed. And what I mean by this is that, contrary to what the politicians will tell you, they're not consistent in their values. There are some issues where Democrats are very much big government, and other issues where they're not. There are some issues where Republicans are very much cut the government or smaller government, and once again, issues where they are not. I'm not going to go into a lot of time as to looking at those particular issues. I think if you're honest, you'll recognize that politicians on both sides tend to not have a consistent policy. Let's be honest, the goals of Democrats and Republicans is to win elections by any means necessary. But this is contrary to what we believe as Christians. We believe that there is consistent values that are applied regardless. The fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Doesn't matter whether it's to undocumented immigrant, whether it is to a person with a MAGA hat. No matter who we're around, we should have love, patience, kindness. This is what we're supposed to be as Christians. Politics tends to take us away from that. It tends to take us to where we show patience for people on our side. When they do something wrong, we talk about nuance. When someone on the other side does something wrong, it's black and white. And this is what politics does. And thus we see God as being on our side. Now, if this is interesting to you, before I go on, please consider liking this video, liking this channel, subscribing to this channel, if you will. These things help to build this channel to have these sort of discussions, because I think we need to really discuss how we as Christians sometimes get off the track politically. My pastor once preached a sermon, and it was close to election day. And what he said stuck with me. I don't know about you, but not everything pastors preach stick with me. I've been to probably hundreds, maybe thousands of sermons in my life, and I counted it up. But this did. And he said, if we wake up on election morning and we think we're saved, or we wake up on election morning and we think we're doomed, our faith was never in God. It was in our political party. Even if our team loses, God can save us. Even if our team wins, we need God. Our political victories should not dominate who we are, how we feel about things, whether we believe God is in control. I fear too often we have done this. And we see the fruits of this. For example, today a lot of conservative Christians are debating about undocumented individuals and refuting scriptures that say on how we treat strangers. That this, they've gone full war against the undocumented. It was really not that long ago, maybe about 20 years ago, when survey research indicated that certain Christians were on the side of those who are undocumented. They're more likely to than most other groups to be supportive of them. What happened? We know what happened. Trump happened, right? Let's just be honest about this. A lot of conservative Christians right now are on a more restrictive type of immigration policy because that's where the Republicans are. Progressive Christians, you're not any better. Really wasn't that long ago when people like Jesse Jackson and such were pro-life. Because they argued that life is precious. Just like black lives are precious, so unborn lives are precious. There's very few progressive Christians who are pro-life today. What happened to you? It's because you found out your political party would no longer tolerate you being pro-life. Therefore, you adjusted to them rather than your values. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I don't ever adjust my values according to, my political allies and things. I mean, I do think those of us who are not wedded to a partisan perspective are more likely to resist than others. I'm not going to pretend to be perfect, but it's something we should be aware of and fight against consistently. That we should be, as Lincoln said, on God's side, not worry about whether or not God is on our side. To this end, we as Christians must be willing to critique our side, no matter how partisan you are, willing to critique your party if you want to escape the clutches of being captured by the party than by God. Be willing to put your gaze on them, to uphold your values even to those of your party. If they do something wrong, call them out. They're more likely to listen to you than someone like me who's not a part of that party. We must be careful. It's too easy to get wrapped up in the party politics. And in doing so, to not really keep the values that we proclaim. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. And please come back. We can shatter some more paradigms.